Easy. Received a message from Mary Murphy on my Facebook page. She's written, I've been told that my cholesterol is very high, 7, which should be around 4. Also, I want to lose a stone in weight. What foods can I eat that will combine both goals? I've been struggling for breakfast and lunch ideas as I eat both at work. It has a microwave but no cooker. Hi Mary. Now just so everyone knows, I've never met Mary. But I'm just going to answer your question as directly as I can. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise when I've never met someone, because I don't have to kind of mollycoddle people or hold their hands and just give it to people straight up. I've got a lot of experience with people with cholesterol, cholesterol issues, high cholesterol, etc. And I have helped everyone I've worked with really, because it's actually not too hard to deal with this. The first thing about cholesterol is incredibly important to the body. You need cholesterol. Don't let anyone tell you shouldn't have cholesterol in your body, because you have to have it. It's a precursor for every hormone in your body, all of them. Your stress hormones, corticosteroids, things like this. So your body will produce cholesterol in order to make these hormones. You have to have hormones in your body. They help it kind of run in a kind of a bland sense of looking at things. And the other thing is cholesterol helps fight inflammation to the body. And again, this is very, very important. So, this is why it's important to have some fat in your diet, because you need both these things. You have to have hormones and you have to have basically things that help an inflammatory response in the body. So if I was to work with you, Mary, I'd actually require you to go back to your doctor or whoever you got this reading off and get a reading from your HDL to LDL. Now, the HDL is kind of the high density lipids. It's the kind of the good stuff, so to speak, and the HDL is the bad stuff. So I require you to get a reading for this, because it's important for me to understand, well, what have you got here? Have we got a lot of the good stuff, or have we got a lot of the bad stuff? Now normally if I do send people away and they come back with high LDL, then the first thing I have a look at is their sugar intake. And when you intake cholesterol, when you can take sugar into the body, it gets absorbed as glucose by the body and then stored in the liver as glycogen. Now if those little stores in the liver are full, or you can't store any more glycogen in the body uses an enzyme called HMG co-reductase and actually converts it into a triglyceride, which is a lower density lipid. So your body is actually going to produce lower density bad cholesterol from sugar. So when I work with people, one of the first things I do is start to monitor all their sugar intake. And once you really start to get to know nutrition and food and what's out there and what's in the supermarkets and the sugar contents of food, it's actually quite disgraceful, to be quite frank, because there's so much hidden stuff and everything contains sugar. And this is why obviously like cholesterol and this whole issue of cholesterol becoming too high is very much a modern thing, because everything's packed full of sugar nowadays. So one of the first things I do with you is definitely get you to have a look at your sugar intake. Obviously, as I said, I've never met you, so I don't know what you're eating and things like that, but I'll make some suggestions later. But you're going to have to take charge of this and say, right, well, if I'm consuming too much sugar and having a look at exactly what you're eating, then you'll need to cut down on that, otherwise you won't be able to help yourself. Now, the other thing is, obviously working with your doctor, and I know that doctors, from my experience, they recommend statins. Now, a statin is basically, I don't know how you describe it, but basically statins in this case would actually block the HMG co-reductase enzyme from converting the glycogen into a lower density lipid. But you don't want this. Like, please don't let your doctor or anyone try and put you on this. I know I'm kind of seeing into the future a bit and maybe just saying don't do this, even though it hasn't been suggested, but I've had this so much from doctors, because they're just pumped full of medication all the time and it's not good for you. So just say, no, I don't want it, if you are offered by a doctor or anyone else. So the other thing about cholesterol is, now 80% of cholesterol is actually what's called androgenous, which is it's made by the body. I mean, that's really, if you understand that, then you understand how important cholesterol is. Your body is incredibly smart and it's making its own cholesterol because it needs it. So you have to kind of think, well, obviously is cholesterol that bad for me, so to speak? But in your case, I think when I've worked with ladies, particularly Caucasian white ladies, and they've come to me with high cholesterol readings and the HDL is high, etc. Even actually the HDL, if they've come to me with those high readings, you can kind of start to track, well, what's going on in my body, and particularly with white Caucasian ladies, they have a high intake of gluten in their diet. Now, if you are consuming gluten-based foods, breads, pastas, anything with gluten, I mean, gluten's in sauces nowadays, it's kind of hidden like sugar. then you want to remove this from your diet. I've mentioned this in another video, but basically when you intake a food you're intolerant to, such as gluten, it will go into your small intestine for absorption, and the little villi, the little hairs that release enzymes such as protease to absorb proteins, lactase to digest lactose, etc. They won't be able to actually absorb the food, and it will just cause a villus atrophy, and it will cause them to rot, which will trap bacteria, fungi, things like that. And it will cause issues and systemic inflammation to the gut. And when you get this inflammation, the body will make more cholesterol to help fight the inflammation. So if you come to me saying I've got too much high cholesterol, well, I'd say, well, why? You know, why have you got this high reading? It's not just about, oh, you know, we need to deal with all that. The only way we're going to deal with it is to find the why. And if you're consuming foods that you're intolerant to, then your body will make more and more cholesterol because it has to fight more and more inflammation. And the cholesterol it will produce in this case is the HDL, and it will send HDL to basically to the site of inflammation to help kind of fight it. So you want to make sure that you remove foods that you're intolerant to. Now I send clients off for testing and things like that if they really need it, but you know, one of the first things I do with pretty much every white client, not being racist, but every white client, is I remove gluten from their nutritional plan. Everyone feels better, looks better, weight reduction, all of this. Okay, so you've asked, I'm just going to hit, I just wanted to go into that because it's important for people to understand all of that, but let's just go straight now into your goals. Now you said you wanted to lose weight. Now with pretty much every client, it's not, you know, rocket science nowadays. It's quite well known that you probably need to reduce sugar intake in your diet. When you intake sugar, the body will release insulin to help ferry the sugar to the muscles. Insulin is a fat storing hormone. So, and again, you know, I've said to you that you probably want to reduce your sugar intake, so the two do go hand in hand. So you need to really look at cutting as much sugar from your nutritional plan as possible. Now the other thing you said to me was about the microwave. Now I just wrote on my Facebook page a little bit lower below your comment about microwaves. My clients are not allowed to use microwaves, and they haven't been for years. If they have one, my advice is to actually chuck it out, and that's point blank. There's no two ways. You don't use it. Microwaves just nuke food. They destroy the goodness out of it. If you put, you know, a pound of broccoli in there, it just destroys it. It nukes everything, all the minerals, the vitamins, every single bit of worth out of it. So you really don't want to use that. And the only way around it is to start preparing your own food the day before. And this is such a huge issue with clients. I mean, I'll probably have to make another YouTube video on it because people just can't get their head around making their own food. They go to Pret, they microwave, they bring what they can in, like just go and buy it from Sainsbury's or Tesco's, and most of it's crap, to be honest. And then they use a microwave, which just makes it even more crap. So you want to get rid of any habits you use of using microwaves. Don't ever use them. They're really awful. Right, so my kind of general advice to you, because I just talk and talk, don't I? So my general advice to you is, first thing, you said about breakfast and lunch. Well, the first thing I'd do with you is have a look at breakfast, because breakfast is very important. You want to be eating absolutely no cereals in the morning, no porridge, no nothing like that. That is just processed sugar, all of it. My clients, the ones that I get successful. I get success with all my results, with all my clients on cholesterol, really, because, like I said, all this advice is kind of to eat natural foods, and cereals are not natural. There isn't a a Frosty's tree or a Kellogg's K tree or something like that. It just isn't happening. So you want to kind of cut all these foods from your diet and basically go back to more natural foods. So for you, obviously, I'll try and get you consuming some protein in the morning. Yes, could be meat. All of my clients who eat meat in the morning feel infinitely better for it, and that's another 10-minute chat. But yeah, eating meat in the morning, possibly some eggs. I wouldn't go consuming too much yogurts or anything like that, but possibly some fruit, maybe some Greek yogurt if you can't handle that. A little bit of nuts, not too many, because they're quite calorie dense, and some people can actually be intolerant to nuts, the polyunsaturated fats in the nuts. But I would get you consuming more protein in the morning, and then start to consume foods that you've actually made. So particularly fish for you. I know that omega-3 is very, very good for helping fight inflammation, and you find that in fish. So I'd really recommend you consuming more organic chicken, turkey, lots and lots of white fish, green veg, etc., and some fruits to help regulate your blood sugar. But all of these will need to be prepared and taken to work so that you don't have to use the microwave, and these will help you to lose weight because they'll regulate your blood sugars, regulate your hormone levels, and actually help you to reduce the sugar intake in your diet, which can cause weight loss and cause high cholesterol. Now, I'm just about to hit 10 minutes. I'm a bit worried that YouTube will cut me off, so I hope that helps. Any more questions, let me know. Cheers.